Today's Root to Rise video is an introduction to meditation. Many of my friends and family have wondered, how do you start? What does it feel like? What do I have to do? And or I've tried, but I don't know what I'm doing and I don't feel relaxed. I think I'm doing it wrong. So ultimately, they and us, we avoid things that we don't understand. But today, I hope to offer you some clarity and create a safe and calm, relaxing environment for you to explore this practice for yourself. Let's start with the word meditation. It's a word, and it's loosely used to describe methods of concentration and focus, and sometimes can be confused with practicing spirituality or forms of prayer. I want to be clear that every religious tradition has some form of meditation within its practice. We are not here today to unpack those traditions and how they relate to various religions. I'd like you to see meditation as a mental exercise that is available to anyone and to everyone. Um, Most important to know, it's a living activity. Meditation is an experience that no one book or person can answer all the questions you may have once you start this journey. Journey, that's another good word, which means that you have decided to take a long trip where you already know there are going to be some challenges and some trips and some falls. So, other words wrapped around meditation: relaxation, bliss, tranquility, retreat. These are all words that can describe one person's experience. I'd like for you today, before we actually meditate together, to think of it as a practice to move you towards better insight into the reality of your life. Insight means clear awareness of reality. Concentration that you develop in the practice of meditation, it's a tool, it's a mental skill that ultimately is going to help you chip away at the illusions, which we all have, that block the living light of reality. In other words, you want to see things as they happen while they're happening. Sounds deep? Don't try to understand it all in this moment. Some other tips: when you start your practice, don't force it. There's no exact way to feel. Don't rush it. Don't try to push through the time to force yourself to feel blissful or relaxed. And don't cling. Thoughts are going to come up in your mind. They're floating by like clouds in the sky. If a thought comes up about a conflict or something that makes you sad, that's perfectly natural. Don't cling to it. Try not to ride that cloud until it rains, right? That's another thing you could do, is just try to let it go. Also, you don't want to reject anything. So whatever comes up in your mind while you're meditating, it may not be something you were thinking about this morning or yesterday, but suddenly it has popped up. So it may have some meaning or it may not. Just accept everything that comes in the moment of your meditation practice. Be gentle with yourself, be kind, You're just kind of on an investigative journey, right? You're just seeing what's inside of you, just under the top layer of your life. So let's start. If you notice, I'm sitting in this lotus position, or what some might call the Native American posture, seated posture of crossing the legs and placing the right foot under the left knee and the left foot on top of the right knee. You do not have to sit like that. Maybe you can just cross your ankles, and if that puts a lot of pressure on your knees, take a towel from the bathroom, something that you already own, and just use it as a prop under your knee. Or you can take a big scarf or a throw blanket from the living room. Just borrow and use what you have. Try to fold it nicely so it's sturdy, and just protect yourself, right? Find a position. I've also placed this big pillow behind me to support my lower back. A trick here is, it's nice to have, but you don't want to sit all the way against it, because it's going to push your knees down and add more pressure. So just think of yourself as floating. I'm going to sit in the position that's most comfortable for me, but do what's best for you. What I like to do with my scarf during my meditation is I like to wrap it around me, because it offers me a little bit of comfort, right? Warmth. Because often these thoughts that come up, they make you feel vulnerable. And so it's nice to have a little snuggle around you. And again, maybe you don't have a fluffy scarf. Take a plain towel and you can just wrap that around your shoulders, your neck, as if you were coming out of the shower and you're swaddling yourself. You don't need anything to start, but these are just some things that you may have in the house that will make this practice comfortable and cozy. I'm sitting in a corner of my apartment where no one is going to distract me. But maybe you don't have a private corner. So sometimes what I find myself doing when I'm in a crowded area where it's going to be a challenge to find my own space, I put on a hat, right? And this alerts everyone around me that I am going into my own space and I should not be disturbed until I remove the hat. Maybe it's not a hat, maybe it's a hoodie, that's okay. And maybe even as a last resort, it's your headphones. You put your headphones on and you now have created this personal barrier that says, I do not want to be disturbed for X amount of time. Moving forward, now that we found our comfortable position, why comfortable is important, it means that you're not going to move for the allotted time of your practice. It's really important. I can't unpack all of that now in our first sitting, but if you choose to move, this new position will eventually become uncomfortable too, which will force you to move again and again, losing the focus, the concentration that we're trying to develop. So find a comfortable position. We're going to sit in meditation today for 11 minutes. What is the place where you can be for 11 minutes without moving a lot? Let's try that. Once you find your position, we're going to close our eyes. That might feel scary for some people. It may be new. So maybe you look at the tip of your nose. You want to focus on one point or close your eyes so that you're not looking all over the room and distracted. Once you get in there, your eyes are closed, you're focused on one point, you're sitting comfortable. Now what? There's a lot of thoughts in your mind, tons of events that you're processing, faces of people, scents, smells, sounds. Where do you go? Try to think of your mind like a cup of muddy water. The more still the cup becomes, the mud settles to the bottom, and you start to see more clearly through the water. It may take more time than you expected for the mud to settle in the water, but accept everything that comes. This is a practice. Once that mud settles, there is some stillness, and you start to see clearly. You may not like what you see. Focus on your breathing. Just an inhale, exhale. Don't force the breath. Just focus on your breath. Your breath, it is the most constant motion in your life, and it's reliable. With every inhale, there'll be an exhale. Let's try to do this together. I use an app called Insight Timer. And what it allows me to do, it's free to register. I can set up a timer. We're going to do 11 minutes together. Comfortable position, close our eyes, focus on your breathing, and begin. You can cup your hands, one on top of the other, in your lap. Great. Slowly open your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Do what you need to do right now to come back to here. How did that feel? What came up? What surprised you? What comforted you? All very great questions. Whatever questions, thoughts, ideas have arisen in this moment for you are perfectly yours to investigate, to bring back to your meditation, to dream about. But I do hope that this has brought a calming effect to your day. Love and respect. I hope to always educate, encourage all people who want to live a healthier and happier life. Namaste.